Mary Lynn, thank you so much for being willing to join the VO Booth Besties and our interviews on demo production, specifically focusing on demos in 2024 and what that looks like. Um,
Or my phone's off.
so perfect. Let's jump right in. So the first question
Thank you for
is,
having me. Yeah, thank you.
we are so grateful. When do you feel like having a fully produced demo of mock work versus work you've already booked became the standard, or has it always been that way?
For as long as I've been in the business, which is a few decades, that's just always been the way. It's always been understood that the spots on your demo are manufactured, meaning they're likely not spots that you've done. Yes, you can have a demo with some stuff that you've done, but here's what I found interesting in all these years. Most of the time, if you're lucky enough to get those spots from the ad agencies or production companies, because that's very difficult to do, they're usually the same kind of read.
Hmm.
So if you have too much of the same kind of read on your demo, then it's not showing any kind of, diversity or range. So, that's the purpose of a demo. It's a demo. It's a demonstration
Yeah.
of things that you can do or would most likely be booked as, or what you potentially could book. Maybe a production company, ad agency, or agent hasn't heard you in a certain way. So it's a demonstration. So we understand that. So as again, many decades that I've been in the business, that is just an understood, standard. It's accepted.
Perfect. All right. So, what do you think the role of a demo is in 2024? Is it just to secure an agent? Is it marketing? A combination?
It's changed. You're right. It seems to me that now the purpose of a demo is really to get the agent. Um, there are certain agents out there, and coming again, from the casting side where I come from, a lot of times I have clients that'll say, we don't have time to cast, or we have a very limited budget. Can you just send us some actors' demos that are fit this type? So then I'll, utilize a demo, somebody's demo that way, or agents will send me their demos. There are some agents out there that are great, and they actually take those actors' demos and market them for, maybe they'll go to the ad agency that does all the forward stuff and say, listen to these guys' demos. But it seems to me that the majority of talent now are getting demos produced strictly for getting the agent. Once they have the agent, they get that up on the agent's house reel, and then they sit back for a while as far as demo production goes. So that's why if you've ever noticed and you go to the agent's house reels, you'll see some people's demos seem pretty old,
Hmm.
because they kind of sit back and they don't do a new demo for a while. So yeah, I think that's sort of the main driving force of getting a demo produced now, at
Yeah.
least in the commercial world for sure.
And would you say that that has been a shift over the time? Like it used to be more that would you would book off of your demo, and now it's more custom auditions?
Yes. Yes. Now, I do acknowledge that again, coming from the casting side, and maybe because I'm in LA, I'm working more in sort of the national network market.
Hmm.
And I understand that the talent and maybe regional agents are working on that side of the market, which, and no disrespect, but it's a little
Right.
bit smaller, and it's actually kind of nice because you might have really great relationships with production companies and ad agencies there, as opposed to how you might try to do it with a major ad agency in the big markets. Um, so marketing your demo to the smaller market might be more of a thing there in a smaller market as opposed to a thing here in the bigger markets. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. It makes perfect sense. So, how long have you been making demos?
Um, so when I started my company, Voices Voice Casting in 1990, I started doing demos then. And then I stopped because then I had kids and it was just it was way too much work, and casting was just going crazy and all that stuff. And then I picked it up again probably about 4 years ago, 5 years ago, because I had so many students over the years that would just say, I wish you could do my demo. Yeah, that there was quite a big gap in between, but I started back up a few years ago, yeah, 4 or 5 years ago.
Okay. So you're also a coach for anybody who isn't familiar with you. Um, do you only make demos for the people that you coach, or do you require coaching if somebody came to you and said, I want to make a demo with you, would you be like, I need this many coaching sessions first?
Yeah, so I again, casting is our number one job here at Voices Voice Casting. Then I coach, and then I'll produce demos for students that I coach. I only do commercial demos. That's kind of my area of expertise. I have done a few narration demos for people over the years, but commercials are my passion. And I am very, very, very selective and specific, and only do the demos for students of mine, people that I have worked with, because you know, as I take a lot of pride in that, I always say my name goes out there with you on that demo.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to do a demo for somebody I don't know. I don't know how good they are. I don't know where I can stretch them, work with them, promote them, market them, write copy for them. So I want to have known that person, worked with that person, and then I can help them after that demo is done with the marketing. Like, oh, okay, you know what, you really should attack that agent, and let's try this person. So yeah, that's pretty much my criteria for producing somebody's demo. If I don't know them, um, I will suggest that they coach with me, but also I only coach working pros.
Right.
So again, that's only because my time is just limited, and I like to work with working pros. One of our other casting directors here, Caitlin, she works with beginners. So she might work with a beginner for a while, and then we go, okay, if you want to make a demo, because everybody has to make their first demo,
Right.
maybe you should still do some sessions with Mary Lynn and kind of see where you're at. So.
So it sounds like it's a natural progression from your coaching. And it's like, well, it just makes sense for you to be the person that makes the demo because you know this person's skills better than anyone
And it
else.
and if they don't want to work with me, I totally get it. I'm totally fine with that, because sometimes they'll say, I really want to work with this coach or that coach. And I'll say, that's great. So, if they want to reach out to me, I can tell them maybe what your areas of strength are, because I feel like it should be a very collaborative process. And, maybe that's the mother in me. I just want to protect my little babies out there in the, in
Hmm.
the world, getting all the right information.
So that brings up a question that we have had put forth in the community. Should there be like a separation of church and state where coaches just coach and casting just casts and demo producers just produce? Or is there variety and a benefit to the industry when one person can do all of the above?
That's a great question, because there are some people out there that are coaching that maybe shouldn't be coaching. There are some people that are doing demos that maybe shouldn't be doing demos. Um, there's no rules. There's no rules in voiceover. I think that, again, if you're good at it, and if are in touch with what is needed out there, whether you're a coach, a casting director, or a demo producer, then you can do it. You have access to all the information and materials and how to do it. Then go for it. Yeah, I don't have a problem with that, but I do think that there should be some kind of resume to back that up,
Yeah.
because as we all know, there's some charlatans out there, and we got to be careful. But yeah, I mean, I think some people maybe spread themselves a little thin on, as far as, like, all the different genres of demos that they can do, and maybe they're not that versed in that particular genre. So that's maybe where I would say, you don't have to do everything as far as
Yeah.
demos go, but I think overall, if you're good at it and you have the experience with it, and like I said, the resume to back it up, I don't see a problem with that.
So it sounds like my next question is, do you think it's important for producers to niche down the types of demos they produce? And it sounds like the answer to that is yes, like focus
Yeah.
on where your strengths are.
Yeah, because there's a couple demo producers I know out there who, they don't do animation because they don't really know a lot about the animation world. And I respect that they own that.
Yeah.
You know, there's some that don't do imaging because they don't know that world. I stick with commercials, even though I cast animation, I cast narrations, I've cast e-learning, but mostly because that's my passion and that's what I coach as well. And I can just easily do that in my sleep. So
Right.
for me, that's where, I stay in that lane.
Makes sense to me. So um what would you say your production process is like when you're making a demo? Like you're talent has gotten to the point that you're like, you're ready. What comes next?
So the way we do it here is I have what I first call, obviously I know the talent already. So then I'll have what I call a demo consult. And that's what you should do with any kind of demo producer. So with the demo consult, because I know the talent, they know me, we, get to chatting, and then I'm going to say, tell me things that you're passionate about. And it's just mostly kind of just to draw from them, oh, I love, Diet Coke. And then some people go, no, I don't want any kind of diet products on my demo. So
Mhm.
it's just kind of gleaning from them all the things that they really like, don't like, like, brands they don't want to promote. And then at the same time, I'm saying, well, because you kind of fit this demographic, we should make sure and do a tech spot on here, and so it's just kind of, hashing out and sort of, laying out everything that we're going to want to put on your demo. So after we do that, then I go and I write the copy for the actors. And then I will give them usually two choices per direction, of the commercial directions, and send that off to them. Then I work with Tim Friedlander and Carson Beck, who are, Soundbox. They're my engineers. They produce the demo, or they do all the production work for me. Um, I don't like doing that part only because I'm just not as good at it as they are, and their library is amazing.
Yeah.
And so what happens is, so we've had our demo consult. I've written the copy. Then I set up a date between me and Tim's studio. And so Tim ahead of time will check their studio and stuff like that and their equipment. We set up our recording date. On the recording date, you've got me directing you, the talent.
Hmm.
You can either be here in Hollywood, or we do a Source Connect session or whatever. And then Tim is there, doing all the engineer work. We record it. Then after the session, I will say to Tim, okay, on this Ford spot, I really liked her take 2 and her take 3. Then he and Carson will go and do all the production work. And I usually say to them, I want to make sure and have this kind of sound effect after this line, or this kind of music, or whatever. So they take all my notes. They go and do their magic, send it back to me, and then I listen to it. I will pick the edits I want, the order I want. They fix that up, send it back, then we send it on to the talent. So Tim and I split that right in half. That's how we work.
Yeah, that sounds like a really great process to
Yeah,
go
it's
through.
been
And
very effective.
yeah, and honestly, after somebody's gone through that, then they're, if they've never, booked work and done a Source Connect session with a director, and that this is a great prep for that as well.
Right. Well,
Um,
and the reason too, and this has been very effective, is having that the workout session. Oh, I forgot to say that. After we've written the copy and we've worked, I do a session where we do a practice session,
oh,
and we
good.
work on the copy together. I totally forgot about that. We work on the copy together. We have a session where it's just you and me, and we're working on the scripts, and which one do you like, which one do you not like, and we take all our notes. That way, when we go into record, we've already worked on that script. It's not the first time you're seeing it. It's not the jitters of, oh my God, you've already gotten it out of your system, worked on it, you've got your notes, and it makes the session go quicker. They totally know where I'm coming from. They know what to expect. And it's been very, very effective.
It sounds like it.
Yeah.
So, what would you say, how important would you say custom scripts are versus using existing ad copy when crafting a demo? Because it sounds like you write the scripts yourself. So tell us your thought process on that.
So I'm going to be honest, I have taken scripts from actual commercials sometimes, but I'll rewrite them. So
Hmm.
I've done that. And then I write original scripts. So ideally, I do like to write completely original scripts. I might get the idea of a, certain type of commercial and then rewrite it a certain way. Or I might take that commercial if I've seen it, and you know, uh,
Just tweak
the
it.
essence of it, and then make a whole new commercial from it. In my opinion, it's very important to have original scripts. Um, I brought up earlier on a wonderful Facebook thread that got all over the place, as you saw. I've written copies so much over the years, and have used them for students in my workshops as well as for demos. And, I've seen now copy of mine that I've written used on other people's demos, which is very frustrating. And frankly really not in poor taste that people have done that.
Yeah.
But, you know, that's that poor actor's problem. It's not my problem. It's their, you know, I feel badly for them and unfortunately, you know, I don't know. So anyway, I think any demo producer should be writing original scripts, you know, specifically tailored to that actor and that
Mhm.
particular spot and product and type of read. And ideally, if they are going to take something that's already been produced, you know, on television, not from somebody else's demo,
Right.
rewrite it a little bit. Yeah, you can rewrite it.
Awesome. I love that kind of hybridized approach where yes, sometimes it's going to be like, "Oh, I saw this commercial and I liked it and this is perfect for this person, but let's just make it
Yeah,
fit
and
them."
that's what we do because you want to ultimately you want your demo to kind of show off maybe what you can do. Like I just worked with an actress this morning on her demo copy, and we were working on a Peloton script, and we kind of took the idea from the way one of the spots that's airing on TV now, but we just reworked it for her and the way she speaks and you know her demographic and so on. But we got the you know the inspiration from the spot on television. So
Yeah, I love that. The inspiration is coming
yeah.
from that. That's awesome. So, when you're working on the demos, are you open to collaborating with talent if they were to come to you and say, "You know what? I've hired a copywriter. I already have my scripts. I coached with you a few years ago. I really want you to just direct me." Or, "Can you just write my scripts and I'm gonna let this other coach direct me?" Would you be open to talent kind of pulling bits and pieces of your process and just
Um,
curious?
the only thing I've done and probably would agree to do is direct somebody. I've done that many times on other producers' uh demos where the talent knows me so well, but they're going with maybe this particular producer for some reason or another, but they want me to direct them.
Mhm.
And so and I've never really had a problem with that I know of of another producer, you know, having me direct the talent on their copy and their session. Um, so, but I don't think I would feel comfortable writing all the scripts and then having somebody else produce it
Yeah.
because that's kind of not cool if you ask me. But yeah, that's pretty much the only thing I've ever done. Now I have had some students take a script that I wrote and they reworded it a little bit or you know, or changed a sentence or two around. And I'm totally fine with that because I want it to be collaborative that way
Mhm.
between us. But yeah, as far as working with another producer, I would say maybe the most I would be involved in is directing the talent
Okay. So, best question, an open book here. Why should a challenge? I can speak. That I
or a
do this
challenge.
for a living. Why should a talent choose to work with Mary Lynn Wissner?
She's so nice. She's been around a long time. Mary Lynn is, you know, yeah, I kind of know what's going on as far as the world of casting goes. You know, what's trending in commercials, what's trending in the types of reads that are becoming popular that get booked the most. And, you know, I say this very, you know, humbly, but I'm a really good coach. I'm a good director and I'm a good writer. And you know, that's kind of, you know, again, as I said earlier, and I don't mean this to sound, you know, pompous or anything, but I put my name behind you. And I feel I have a lot of, you know, kind of faith and integrity with that, where I'm very proud of the work I've done. Um, I don't want anything to go out there where I would be embarrassed, you know, or ashamed or, you know, called to the mat like, you know, how could you have done that for that actor? You know, because I just don't well, I don't want to do that. I don't have time for that. And nor would I want my actor to be in that position. So yeah, I think, you know, anybody that works with me knows that I come from a place of integrity, honesty, and experience for sure.
Beautiful. Well, I actually do have one more question that I missed
Yeah.
earlier, and I think we've kind of covered it, but we're trying to make sure we ask everybody the same question. So, do you have a specific criteria that you want a talent to have met before they're ready to produce their own, not their own demo, before they're ready to make a demo with you? And is part of that a studio evaluation, making sure that their studio is up and ready to go?
Yes. And that's what Tim does for me. So that's part of our, after we do and after we do the demo consultation, then Tim
Hmm.
goes and he'll get all, checking your mic, checking your room noise and things like that. But because I do demos for mostly students, I've already heard their studio. I've already worked with them in their studio. I know what they've got going on. And some people don't have a full setup, and that's fine too. And I'll send them to a studio. I'll say,
Hmm.
okay, your neighborhood or your city, there's this place and this place. Let's go check them out. So we've done that before. So that's been very helpful as well.
So if a talent doesn't have a studio ready to go and they've made a demo, they just know that they're going to have to continue to go to a studio to if they book work and
Well,
budget
here's the
for that.
thing, as we all are, have learned since the pandemic, you know, having a pro home studio, it's not even like something you should be, putting on your resume anymore. It's a given.
Yeah.
You have to have that. So, yes, if you are ready to make a demo and put yourself out there, you've got to have a broadcast quality home studio.
Yeah.
And if you don't, for some reason or another, or maybe, I don't know, the neighbor next door is putting in a new roof, find a place to go, do your auditions or, that you can go and if you had to record a job.
As if you had the home studio
Yeah.
ready to
So
go. Yeah.
again, and this all goes back to why I prefer working with working pros, because a lot of that's already taken care of.
Yeah.
And if something needs to be fixed, we'll tell them, oh, we hear, and sometimes Tim will hear things I don't even hear. That's why, again, I work with him because he's such an audio, engineer. It's just in his DNA. He's like, well, there's this decibel of it. I'm like, God, I didn't even hear that. So, that's why, again, our collaboration works really well and it only benefits the talent.
Well, thank you so much for explaining your whole process and in such great detail. I loved hearing that, like, just kind of every part of the process was really interesting. And
Thank you.
we will include notes for how people can get in contact with you. And just wanted to say thank you again for your time, and we'll sign off.
Yay, thank you for
Thank
having me.
you.
Thank you.